Kdrama International High School Season 2, the latest campus revenge drama of 2025, is finally here. To ensure the best viewing experience, this review will recap the entire first season. The story begins with a poor girl who, to avoid being mocked by her classmates, pretends to be a rich heiress. Her social media is filled with pictures of luxurious items, leading her classmates to envy her. In reality, she secretly takes these photos while tutoring a wealthy young lady. When questioned about not bringing her designer clothes to school, she cleverly deflects. Another girl, however, presses her on how she affords such expensive brands without pocket money. The protagonist skillfully answers, attributing her possessions to a generous friend. This impressive answer leaves her classmates amazed, unaware that these words were fed to her by her actual wealthy friend. This friend, a genuine baifume, a Chinese term for a white, rich, and beautiful woman, has elevated the protagonist's social standing. The friend further entices her, explaining that if her social media popularity reaches over 10,000, she could receive substantial sponsorships, earning millions a month. Driven by this prospect, the protagonist eagerly visits her friend's house early to photograph all the clothes in her closet. As she uploads more pictures, her popularity grows, but it remains far from the 10,000 mark. Desperate for more attention, she decides to take a different approach. She ventures into the walk-in closet, overwhelmed by the sight of expensive clothes and dazzling jewels. She excitedly holds a necklace to her neck, only to be startled by her aunt's sudden appearance. She quickly makes an excuse about looking for a bathroom, and thankfully, her aunt doesn't suspect anything. Reluctantly, she puts the jewelry back. As she turns to leave, she spots a uniform belonging to Kdrama High School, a prestigious elite school in Korea. While her aunt is distracted, she secretly takes the uniform to a room, puts it on, and immediately uploads photos to her social media, hoping this will be her ticket to transferring schools. After posting, a sense of loss washes over her. It's all fake, and she genuinely envies her friend's life. Suddenly, her friend's voice calls from downstairs, eager to try on the new school uniform. Panicked, the protagonist tries to quickly remove the uniform, but it's too late. Her friend enters the room, and the protagonist hides under the bed. Her friend expresses distress at not being able to find the uniform, and just as she's about to leave, the protagonist's phone rings. On the screen is a picture of the protagonist in the uniform, followed by more photos taken in her friend's clothes. Her secret is out. Her friend, 2 years younger, discovers the protagonist's lies about her age and forged academic documents. The friend threatens to tell her mother, sending the protagonist into a panic. She tries to explain that she meant no harm. Unexpectedly, her friend decides not to pursue the matter, and the protagonist profusely thanks her. However, just as she's about to leave, her friend remarks on the need for patience. As a result, the protagonist becomes her friend's personal assistant, not only helping with homework, but also serving as a shopping companion and photographer. She silently endures her friend's arbitrary demands, but the more she complies, the worse her friend's behavior becomes. Her friend even starts giving her homework from 3 other friends. Noticing the protagonist's unhappiness, her friend quickly adds that after the entrance exam next week, the protagonist will no longer be her tutor. Relieved at the thought of finally being free, the protagonist agrees. On the day of her midterm exam, the protagonist is frantically reviewing when her friend calls. Her friend, who has an interview today, has forgotten her speech at home and begs the protagonist to retrieve it as no one else is home. Despite her impending exam, the protagonist, feeling helpless, rushes to her friend's house. She finds a speech in a drawer, but as she's there, she overhears her friend mocking her. It dawns on the protagonist that she has been tricked, and it's all time to make her miss her exam. Enraged, she throws the speech into the trash as her friend laughs. The protagonist has missed a crucial exam, her only chance as a poor student to change her destiny. Overwhelmed with anger and despair, she cries, realizing that her own vanity led to this situation. As she tries to wash her face, her loose hair gets in the way, making her feel even more unlucky. Suddenly, another girl appears and kindly offers her a hair tie. The protagonist promises to return it after use, but then she notices a sticker on the girl's back, a derogatory symbol of her poverty. Enraged, the protagonist throws the hair tie to the ground. The scene shifts to the beginning of the drama, with the protagonist confidently confronting her tormentor and dousing her with a bucket of water. Following this incident, her friend's mother, furious that her daughter's future has been ruined, swears she won't let the protagonist get away with it. Just as the mother is about to escalate the situation, the trustee of Light Talk International High School intervenes. He states that her daughter caused a commotion at the interview venue and warns that if they continue, both will be expelled. For her daughter's future, the mother tries to explain, but the trustee insists that such behavior is unacceptable at a prestigious institution like Kdrama High School, making her daughter's admission impossible. Her daughter cries bitterly, and the mother, enraged and distressed, unleashes her fury on the protagonist. Upon arriving at school, the protagonist receives a message of forced withdrawal. She is accused of fraud for lying about being a Korean university student and receiving tutoring. The school is inundated with calls protesting their institution and the Department of Education, overwhelming the teachers. Furthermore, accusations of theft have surfaced, leaving the protagonist stunned. She merely took pictures with the clothes. She realizes her friend must be framing her. The news spreads rapidly through the school, and classmates whisper and call her thick-skinned and shameless. She checks her phone and sees her friend's social media post, exposing all her lies. Meanwhile, two Chingden high school students are fishing when one scrolls past the protagonist's post. He notes that he doesn't know this girl and her family is clearly not prominent, suggesting she impersonated someone else. He speculates that if Baijina finds out, there will be a spectacle, as Baijina despises displays of wealth at school. Baijina overhears this conversation. The protagonist's social media account is suspended, and students continue to mock her. Someone throws a note at her, calling her a shameless fake girl, and her phone rings. Text messages arrive from both Indoor Research and Jixing. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to people eating chicken. A member finds themselves in an awkward situation, profusely apologizing after being told their sweaty and muddy attire is unacceptable. To make a good impression on Lee, the member mentions their top academic grades, questioning why such a good student should face severe punishment like having their girlfriend accompany them to a lawsuit. Lee simply smiles at this, while the member continues to lament that only women with long legs are successful on social media platforms like Douyin. The member then asks what they should do to succeed. Lee responds by asking what good it is to cry and save someone, implying that if NEI yen were admitted due to such emotional pleas, it would generate significant revenue. However, Lee emphasizes that smart individuals understand the importance of calculating gains and losses. Allowing a small amount of money to influence admissions and ignore the scandal would tarnish the international high school's reputation, leading to substantial losses. Before Huiren can object further, the director impatiently dismisses them. Feeling helpless, Huiren retreats to the bathroom and breaks down crying. A boy secretly smoking in a cubicle is startled by Huiren's presence and quickly hides a cigarette. Seeing that Huiren isn't leaving, the boy tries to sneak out but is discovered. The boy is questioned about smoking in the women's toilet and explains that the girls avoided due to a past incident. Huiren believes him and agrees to keep a secret. Later that night, the member covertly enters the school. The boy points out Lee's red sports car. The member attempts to speak with Lee, but the director doesn't emerge until late. Just as the member is about to leave, a person falls from the building. It turns out to be a girl, the same one who had lent Huiren a hair tie earlier. News quickly spreads about the fall incident at Changchun International High School. The school trustee declares that the student committed suicide due to study pressure, instructing subordinates to conceal the truth. However, a problem arises with Li Shi, a wise man, as a witness. An idea forms. Simultaneously, the member is recounting the events to the police, visibly shaken by the girl's fall. After the investigation concludes, the tired member returns home to find Nyan's mother waiting. Expecting trouble, the member is surprised when the woman's demeanor has changed. She asks what method the member used to bribe the chairperson, as NEI yen is now able to re-enroll. The member is bewildered, denying any such ability. The woman states she will drop the lawsuit and has already informed the school it was a misunderstanding. She then has her driver deliver an expensive gift, explaining that for NEI yen's father's company to succeed, NEI yen needs to leverage connections at the international high school. The woman flatters the member, hoping for a positive impression before the board of directors. Though confused, Huiren accepts the gift. Upon arriving home, Huiren is met by their angry father, who demands to know where they've been all night. Huiren lies about being at a classmate's house. The father then asks about the person outside and the item in Huiren's hand. Huiren avoids answering, wanting only to sleep. The father's anger escalates, expressing worry and asking if Huiren is in trouble. Meanwhile, the member's phone, now charged, displays numerous missed calls. A text message from the director of Light Talk International High School catches their attention. The member nervously returns the call, and a lengthy conversation ensues, implying some kind of deal has been made. Concurrently, the boy is giving a junior a tour of the school, explaining the invisible class hierarchy based on parental wealth. He proudly states that he is the queen of the school, asserting that he despises those who don't know their place. A girl is seen bullying classmates with money, prompting Baiji to intervene and demand her name. Trembling, the girl points to a ranking below 100 million, causing her companions to laugh. The boy tells the girl to understand her position and not end up like the fallen student. The junior is pleased, revealing her father is the dean of a plastic surgery clinic. Huiren is then forcibly transferred to Changchun International High School. The students who previously mocked Huiren are stunned, watching with envy as Huiran departs, a joyful expression on their face. That night, Huiran quits their convenience store job. When their girlfriend asks if resignation is necessary, Huiran replies, stating their intention to live in this house for 8 weeks and pass. The girlfriend then asks where he lives in Beijing. This drama introduces a young man who dreams of attending a prestigious school that offers special enrollment for low-income households. This program would cover his university tuition and even provide free foreign language training abroad, offering him a chance to change his destiny. He decides to commit himself to this school, much to his girlfriend's curiosity about his connection with Mayor Lee that secured this opportunity. The topic is quickly changed by a school member. The next day, he excitedly receives his new school uniform and, eager to look the part, spends all his savings on a pair of expensive shoes at the mall. The 1.45 million Korean won he spent, equivalent to about 7,900 yuan, initially causes him regret due to the astronomical cost for him. However, his new uniform seems to work wonders as store clerks greet him warmly, immensely satisfying his vanity. His moment is interrupted when he collides with a woman, spilling coffee on his new shoes. The woman apologizes and helps him pick them up before quickly leaving. Annoyed, he rushes to the restroom to clean his shoes and is relieved to find them unharmed. He then discovers a mysterious note in his bag that reads, "Uniform worn at the cost of murder, it really suits you." Recalling the collision, he panics and chases after the woman, but she's nowhere to be found. Upon returning to the restroom, he discovers his expensive shoes have disappeared. He then spots another student wearing an identical, brand new pair, concluding they are his. He confronts the student, unaware that this person is Baijina, the queen of Qingtan International High School. Despite his attempts, Baijina easily overpowers him, not only bruising him but also forcibly taking his shoes. Defeated, he returns to the counter, hoping to repackage the shoes with his receipt, but the clerk refuses. Left with no choice, he puts the shoes in a garbage bag. Meanwhile, Baijina returns home barefoot and with a cotton-stuffed nose, enraged by the encounter. The next day, he arrives at school wearing the garbage bag shoes, his face initially filled with excitement and anticipation for this noble high school. However, his perception quickly shifts as he witnesses the reality of the school's social hierarchy, feeling like a clown in comparison. At the same time, Baijina bursts into a room, demanding to find the person who wronged her. Back in class, he is tripped and pinned to the ground by another boy. The expensive shoes he once coveted have now become his biggest burden. He goes to the office to confront the board member, questioning why he was brought into the school when everyone is now mocking him as a beggar. He demands accountability, but the director simply laughs, stating he held his tongue in front of the police, which earned him this special enrollment. The director washes his hands of the situation, leaving him to deal with his classmates alone. He tries to escape the school through a window but runs into Baijina, who asks about his welcome ceremony. He realizes it's all her fault. As he speaks, a group of students appears, surrounding him again. He tries to escape, but Baijina holds him back. Baijina's open provocation draws everyone's attention, allowing him to quickly escape. However, he unknowingly runs into a dead end. Just as he's at a loss, a girl named Sher-En pulls him into a classroom. Noticing his missing shoes, she kindly offers him a pair. Though initially disgusted, he has no other option. Sher-En explains the school's class system, revealing that Baijina is the undisputed queen, and that by offending her, his school life is effectively ruined. To avoid involving Sher-En, he continues to flee, but as soon as he leaves, Sher-En's expression turns cold, suggesting she's not as simple as she seems. He continues to hide, only to be found and surrounded again. Terrified, he pulls out his phone to record everything, threatening to expose them and stain their lives. However, his words are met with laughter. The woman told him to try, and then he would understand. He sacrificed his life to learn, but it was a joke. Huiran was dumbfounded. He just put down his phone. People from both sides gathered around, and Huiran was pushed. He just jumped. The accident didn't happen. A man caught him. His name is Seo Daoyan. His dad is a trustee of the school. The students were dumbfounded. They didn't understand why Su Daoyan saved him. The two came to a place where no one was. Daoyan's unusually considerate performance was evident. He looked at Huiran's dirty clothes and tried to get him a new uniform. Seeing him injured, Daoyan thoughtfully cleaned up the wound. The noble man was lost in thought. Daoyan said, "I love life." Huiran has the same pronunciation as the meeting. Some people thought he was confessing. It turned out to be the beauty of Cinderella. Just marry him, and you can directly become rich. Someone just wanted to promise him. As a result, Dao said Smain again, and then more Gus. Brother Ding is coming. Cinderella's dream was shattered in an instant. It turns out that the reason why Daoyan approached him was to investigate the cause of the death of the seaman. Huiran wanted to leave, but he was grabbed again. Egg Kokomatic Jr., the 9 Temple is your grade. The next day at school, the member got out of his car, walking into the school hand in hand with the director. This scene stunned everyone. Even Bai Jina was confused. Even in the face of a friend's inquiry, he still chose to maintain the membership. Under the blessing of Dao Yan's powerful aura, members instantly became the focus. The girl who besieged him yesterday now came up and shook hands with a smile, hoping to get along well in the future. He really covers you so much. Someone agreed. Anyway, there was no need for him to be enemies with a few people. The three turned into little fans, asking him how he got along with Dao Yan. They wanted him to teach them how to seduce the Diamond Man. People were very speechless. Then the woman suddenly mentioned there's an overnight party this Friday where they will have a good chat. It was a party only for girls, only total assets above 100 million, and only additional children who have passed the verification could participate. Huiren was now Dao Yan's girlfriend, which is why they were privileged. Huiren was not originally interested. His girlfriend was instantly unhappy after hearing it. It's full of wealthy heirs. As long as Huiren gets there and accumulates connections, maybe he can become rich directly. Although Huiren was moved, high-end dresses became a problem. Then his best friend suddenly thought of someone. The endorsement of the rich family daughter at the beginning. He didn't expect that Nayan would readily agree. In exchange, afterwards, Huiren would tell him in detail about the back of his neck. It turns out he wanted to go to that party for a long time, but his family didn't have that strength at all. Huiren wanted to take the money to thank the disliked person for refusing. PSC, nigga. He can't hear the 55-second clock that reaches you. This was the night. Members arrived at the venue in a dress. He was determined to perform well, to make connections. Just as he walked in, a woman bumped into him. Fortunately, the red wine didn't spill on the clothes. Just about to get up, another woman suddenly reached out her hand. Just as he handed over, Bai Ji came over like a queen. People were full of disdain. The result, next second, was who was a pot of soil. The white dress was soiled. Members only now realized this was not a party at all. It was a trap set just for him. Bai Jina appeared like a queen. He slowly came to the member, picked up the red wine next to it. Huiren never expected such an ending. A whole bottle of red wine was poured on his body. Huiren was directly stupid. Seeing the bright red Lacoon died, Huiren was pissed. He asked if that's crazy. You clear the wheel. A few know that I haven't sent it out yet. Talent. Then I am waiting for his heart. Jump that dash and ability. Happily, I save the village. Kronika's about to departure, cause it is Marvel. Members still didn't understand the situation. He got up to teach Bazina a lesson. Two staff members directly stopped him, telling him to get out of here. Huiren said that it was obviously the other party looking for trouble. If you want to rush, you should rush by Azina first. He tried to reason, not knowing that this was Bazina's territory. Looking at the name tag on the waiter, Huiren just realized he could only let the two of them marry off in embarrassment. Bazina was not happy after coming out. It turned out that his father found him a new mother again, and she's 12 weeks pregnant. Mom was so sad that she broke down, drunk with a depressed body. He made up his mind to get a divorce. Although Bai Jina is the queen at school, she can't protect her mother at home at all. Only temper was vented on the cleaning aunt, just because she didn't put it back when she finished packing. If you wait, wanted him to compensate the original price. That's 8 million won, equivalent to RMB about 45,000. He can only open his mouth to his father during meals. He told him 8 million moment. The two were dumbfounded. The members saw that the situation was not good, and Huiren finds herself in a desperate situation as Neon demands repayment within a week, threatening a lawsuit. Seeing Li Kun's distress, Huiren feels the weight of her actions. That night, she frantically searches for part-time jobs online, but all options are unsuitable due to inconvenient hours or distance. The next day at school, Bai Jina confronts Huiren, questioning her relationship with Omri and mockingly asking if she intends to marry him. Bai Jina, full of confidence, dismisses Huiren's attempts to counter, even suggesting that Huiren's efforts to shame her stem from her own insecurity. Huiren attempts to reason with Bai Jina, urging her to focus on her studies and avoid conflict. However, Bai Jina defiantly refuses, demanding that Huiren drop out of school in exchange for settling Li Kun's debt. She gives Huiren a week to consider the offer before leaving. Later, while waiting for the bus, Dao Yan suddenly appears, impatiently pressing Huiren for the identity of the person who killed the Seaman. Instead of answering, Huiren asks to borrow money, which amuses Dao Yan given the gravity of the situation. Huiren knows Dao Yan won't lend her money, so she exits the car midway. Perhaps swayed by conscience, Huiren still reveals what she knows. She didn't see the killer's face, but is certain it was a girl. The following day, someone drags Huiren to a studio, knowing she needs to pay for a dress. To settle an 8 million won debt, Huiren is forced to wear a revealing maid outfit, enduring the leering gaze of a wealthy man and posing for photos. Just as she's about to change into her final outfit, the man grabs her, suggesting further exploitation. Hesitantly, Huiren removes her clothes under his gaze, her garments falling to the floor. To escape her 8 million won debt, she falls into a deeper trap. Returning home that night, Huiran stares blankly at a necklace on her table. She recalls that after the seaman's fall, he had, with his last ounce of strength, extended his hand and given her the necklace before succumbing. Unsure what to do with the valuable item, Huiran is visited by 2 police officers who ask if she remembers anything. After a moment of hesitation, she conceals the necklace, intending to keep it. Before attending a party, she searches her jewelry box for something to sell but finds nothing. She resists the urge to sell the necklace, holding back for now. The next day, a woman arrives at the school, observed by Baijina from upstairs. This woman is her father's new partner. Baijina is enraged by the woman, who appears to ignore customers while shopping. Consumed by anger, Baijina feels her body go numb. The new partner, seeing her distress, asks if she's alright, but Baijina pushes her away, accusing her of feigning concern. She asserts that the woman's pregnancy won't allow her to rise above her current status. The woman scoffs, revealing she visited the hospital today, and the doctor confirmed her baby is perfect. She taunts Baijina, telling her that her veins are like the woman's own. Full of newfound confidence, the woman demands that Baijina call her mother. Huiran then takes the money to Baijina, placing it on the table along with a bill. She states that she knows Baijina was the one who diminished her standing, and hopes that by repaying the money, their accounts will be settled. She also asks Baijina to stop bothering her, affirming her resolve to remain at the school until graduation, regardless of any grievances. Huiran asserts that Baijina may think she holds power in the school, but the truly terrifying woman is one who has nothing to lose, like herself. After leaving, Huiran feels a sense of relief she hasn't experienced before. She decides to avoid further trouble and focus diligently on her studies to earn a scholarship. Upon returning to school, Huiran encounters those who previously bullied her, but they now leave her alone, confirming that Baijina has indeed released her. Daoyan approaches Huiran again, offering to do anything she asks. Huiran is confused. She has already told him everything she knows, and their pretense of a relationship is over. She reiterates her decision to focus on her studies and asks Daoyan to stay away. However, as she turns to leave, Daoyan suddenly mentions a boring detail. He then threatens to involve her piano teacher, compelling Huiran to continue pretending to be his girlfriend and help him investigate the real murderer. Huiran is reluctant, having hoped for a peaceful graduation, but then receives a text message with a video. The message accuses her of being audacious for working so hard to get into the school, and the video shows her changing clothes, leaving Huiran terrified. His legs were shaking throughout the class, but when Wu Shuren turned to ask if he was alright, Huiran nodded. However, upon returning home, he discovered initials left by a mysterious person. The handwriting matched Wu Shuren's, leaving Huiran stunned as episode 8 concluded. Wu Shuren later visited Huiran, expressing envy that Huiran had captured Daoyan's heart. After leaving, Wu Shuren watched the video of Huiran changing clothes, laughing to himself. This all stemmed from a year prior, when Wu Shuren's father was imprisoned and his standing in school plummeted. Facing classmates' taunts, Wu Shuren could only shout in anger, feeling skinny like rain. He recalled Wu Shuren telling him, as a child, that friends must be on the same level. Now, with Wu Shuren's family bankrupt, he finally felt he could vent his anger. Back in the present, Baijina confronted Wu Shuren, demanding to know his true intentions with Huiran. Wu Shuren feigned ignorance, pretending not to know her. Baijina, however, knew he typically didn't treat common people as equals, and suspected a motive behind his current interaction with Huiran. She urged him to stop, warning him of exposure. Wu Shuren then went to the studio and discovered it had been rummaged through. Realizing he was exposed, he openly admitted everything. He stole the shoes, wrote the note, and orchestrated Huiran undressing. He revealed he knew Huiran could come to the studio because of director Jiedon's identity as a witness. Huiran claimed to have simply passed by that day, unaware of the killer's identity. Wu Shuren dismissed this, stating that Huiran's mere presence was enough. Huiran quickly realized something was amiss, recalling that Baijina hadn't known him at all during their first encounter. Seeing his deception exposed, Wu Shuren threatened Huiran with the video, demanding he frame himself as the murderer. If Huiran refused, the video would be sent to the entire school. Meanwhile, Baijina arrived at the hospital, upset by the scars from her mother's. She overheard the secretary discussing her mother's shares and the possibility of the group undergoing rectification if Simba's son was born. To prevent that fox from succeeding, Baijina resolved to seek revenge. Later, as Huiran returned home, he saw Huiran's mother looking for a whistleblower banner. Huiran believed he had acted poorly, regretting pretending not to know and transferring to that school. He began to cry, filled with remorse. Baijina witnessed the scene, and Huiran confessed to sharing the same disease as Huiran's family, a delusional desire for things they shouldn't have, and feeling sorry for himself. Before leaving, Baijina subtly asked if Mr. Wu was a chef. Shortly after Baijina departed, Wu Shuren called, but Huiran didn't answer. Instead, he called Su Daoyan and offered to help him find the real culprit, but only if Daoyan did something for him in return. Huiran, having seemingly made the right decision, took Daoyan to the lounge where he had been playing poker with Curly. There, they found a collection of USB sticks, and Huiran quickly located the one with her name on it. Li Wish received the news, stopping the aggression of the wretched, rich second generation who begged for mercy, promising never to inquire again. Li Wish warned him that if he repeated his actions, the video of him undressing would be exposed. The rich second generation nodded frantically. Huiran emerged with the USB sticks, a symbolic gesture. At the same time, Baijina was conversing pleasantly with her father when her new mother unexpectedly walked in. Baijina became unusually well-behaved, smiling and calling her mother, claiming to be learning business from her father. The new mother immediately sensed something was wrong and quickly pulled Baijina aside, asking her what she wanted. That night, back home, Huiran accidentally discovered Huiran's USB stick. He curiously opened it and found a video of Huiran, but the male protagonist wasn't Director Su. Huiran returned to school, where Wu Shiren stopped him. Wu Shiren revealed he knew Huiran would take the hard drive and, to prevent the film from being taken, intended to expose it immediately. Huiran begged for mercy, promising to comply with his demands and expose himself as the murderer. However, he hesitated, unable to bring himself to do it, knowing it would make him an enemy of the Li family and ruin Daoyan's life. Seeing his struggle, Wu Shiren revealed the truth. He had filmed Huiran in curly hair playing poker. He then used this video to threaten Huiran, coercing him into blackmailing the Baijina family with their scandal. Wu Shiren then revealed that Baijina had pushed Huiran down after Huiran exposed her father's affair with his teacher. Huiran was shocked by this revelation. However, Wu Shiren promised that the real facts would completely overturn Huiran's perception and that the specific situation would be discussed in the next episode. Wu Shiren then told Huiran that he was more worried about the whole school seeing his film than the truth about Huiran's death. Huiran dismissed this concern, focusing on Curly and Lucy's engagement party that night. The couple, engaged for years, celebrated their anniversary with obvious affection. However, during the party, Baijina and Su Daoyan had a heated argument. Su Daoyan identified Baijina as the murderer, based on Huiran's statement that the killer was a woman and his father's refusal to cover up a crime for anyone. Baijina was enraged, defending Huiran and lamenting the end of their 18-year friendship. Little did she know, Huiran had been manipulating her. It was revealed that Huiran was the worst woman at Qingtan International High School. To earn money in that elite school, even while associated with Su Daoyan, she not only played poker with Curly but also allowed Wu Shiren to secretly film it. That night, she sent the video to Curly Hair. Later, Wu Shiren arranged another meeting with Baijina involving her father and teacher. He intended to extort a large sum of money from Baijina to support his family. Baijina reluctantly agreed. The question remained, how did Huiran die? Back in the present, at Curly Hair and the lawyer's anniversary, Baijina exposed Curly Hair and Huiran's poker game. Su Daoyan and Curly Hair immediately began fighting, causing the victim's lawyer to collapse. Baijina felt remorseful for the lawyer and went to his house to comfort him. As Baijina carefully explained, the lawyer burst out laughing. Someone then claimed to have missed the last bus and asked Baijina to drive them home. He turned on a lamp and took out the expensive necklace Huiran had given him, a necklace he'd received from the deceased Huiran. Baijina was stunned, realizing the lawyer was wearing an identical necklace. This revelation brought the truth to light. Lexi already knew about Curly Hair and Huiran. That night, when Huiran called to blackmail Curly Hair, Lexi overheard everything. Enraged, Lexi went to the top floor to confront Huiran. During their struggle, Lexi accidentally pushed Huiran downstairs. Huiran, who was passing by, witnessed the scene but only saw the shadow of a woman. The next day at school, Huiran received a text message from Wu Shiren asking him to meet on the roof at noon. Wu Shiren arrived early. Huiran called him, mentioning their deal and stating he now knew the murderer's identity, making it impossible to frame Shirai. He wanted to discuss it further with Wu Shiren, but Wu Shiren abruptly hung up and uploaded Huiran's video.